This week, OpenAI dropped what a lot of people are calling the best image generator ever built, and within 48 hours, everyone's feed looked exactly the same. Here's what nobody's saying. ChatGPT Images 2.0 isn't a design revolution, it's a slot machine. And the people most excited about it are the ones making the worst content of their lives right now. We got into it on the pod today, what this tool actually does to your brand, why Figma isn't dead, and why having taste has never mattered more than it does right now. We've also got two more topics for you, but you'll have to keep watching to figure out what they are and why they matter for you. Welcome back to What's the Hype? Someone gamed a Polymarket weather bet with a hairdryer at a Paris airport and made $34,000. ChatGPT dropped an image generation and the internet had a moment, including us. And Lazarus Group walked away with $292 million of somebody else's ETH. We've got three stories for you guys today. Let's jump into it. I've got here with me Danny, who is our CEO at Hype, Maria, our VP of Strategy, and a new guest joining us today is George, our VP of Narrative. Oh boy, guys, this should be fun. How's everybody doing?
I've currently got like I've got 35 hairdryers on order from Amazon. I'm ready.
Good call. How do I invest?
I haven't thought it through yet. I'm starting a dropshipping company. It's 2008 all over again.
Beautiful. I love this. Every story today asks the same question.
Interesting fact.
Who has trust, and what happens when you have one without the other? Let's jump into our
fact for you. Sorry, I don't know when to talk.
Shut up. I mean, this is the off time, no? You have your
okay. Host. Yeah. You go. I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah, we got to test our hairdryer exploit, George. Okay, yeah. Polymarket was settling Paris temperature prediction markets based on a single Mateo France weather sensor near the Charles de Gaulle runway, basically unguarded. Somebody figured this out, bought the long shot temperature outcome for pennies, walked up to the probe with a portable heat source, briefly spiked the reading just long enough to register as the daily max, and the market resolved in his favor. He did it twice, once on April 6th, once on April 15th, and walked away with $34,000 and is now facing charges after Mateo France caught on. So just incredible work here.
I mean, I think he deserves it. Why they are like suing?
I mean, you could argue that's not really part of the rules, but then where in the rules does it say you can't do that?
Exactly.
It's a profitable trading strategy, to be honest.
I mean, he's a trader pro. Like he basically found like the very basics of the prediction and changed it. So I think he deserves the money.
Yeah, the bigger question here is, why has he only got 34,000 on? Like, why are you not putting the entire house on this thing? Clearly, you must know what you're about to do.
I think he was trying. He was, because he did it 3 times. So maybe he wanted to be sure that, I don't know, like
maybe the next go it was the millions were coming in.
Probably.
So I've carried out a detailed analysis on the Hype whiteboard. You know, the Hype whiteboard in the office.
Nice. Great.
Actually, if you just pull that up, because I think it's quite insightful. Just to go through some of the key things. So I spent a lot of time on this. I spent like quite a lot of time getting this.
Professor George,
listening to this on the podcast, we have a whiteboard that George generated with ChatGPT's new image gen.
No, he definitely wrote this himself.
He actually
ChatGPT can't do this. AI can't do this. Look at the detail. There's no way that AI can do this.
Look at how all the pens are in the exact same direction with the same spacing. There's no way AI has done that.
Look at the accuracy of the location of Charles de Gaulle Airport relative to the Eiffel Tower and the temperature graph I meticulously plotted with a red pen. There's no way in hell that AI could do this. And exclamation mark. I don't think any of this is in the realms of possibility. You're crazy.
So talk us through it, George. What we saying here? What's the market setup?
I think it's pretty self-explanatory. So just going through some of the essential parts here. Obviously, you need a counterparty, and it was a pretty illiquid market, right? So this thing, you're doing 15K of volume, I think, a day or something very, very small. So this guy obviously has come up and he's tried to manipulate the market, get a little bit more going. So yeah, he's a sophisticated operator. He's seen an opportunity. He's seen an Oracle exploit to make. So it's pretty insane that this is how the market gets resolved, just a single temperature sensor somewhere. And I think they've now moved it to a different airport. They haven't like shut the market down. They've just moved to a different airport. So if anyone wants to do this again, so I was researching similar markets. So there's one in New York where so there's like, how much snowfall is it going to be? How much rainfall is it going to be? In New York, there's one guy who goes with like a plank of wood to Central Park and he measures like the depth of snowfall.
So you need to catch this guy.
You catch him.
So
catch him. The guy. Yeah.
You know, we've talked a lot. The last couple of weeks feels like we've talked a lot about OPSEC and security, and how there's obviously with AI and Mythos and all this risk of these incredible technology systems are all going to get broken, and everyone's going to be more careful and make sure you don't give OAuth access to stuff. And there's just a dude walking around Central Park with a plank of wood, where there's probably millions on the line. Someone's going to figure it out and just go and I don't know, knock him out with the plank of wood and. That's kind of wild.
But the two question here, guys, is can this guy be compared to an hacker?
What the hairdryer guy? You mean?
Yeah. I don't think so.
I mean, I don't think he's going to prison, is he?
I mean, he might. It's France. Like, who knows? But I would say. True. Well, one thing with this is the people on the other side of the trade probably didn't like if you were correct that it wasn't going to be over 22 degrees or whatever, and you were betting against that. If someone comes in and rugs you with a hairdryer, I mean, like there's some like you have to anticipate these kinds of things. Like you have to like look at what the market is, how it resolves. It's like, okay, could someone like rug me? Could someone cook this? Probably. So there's some risk. They can't be that upset, I think.
But
they're betting on some weird like Polymarket market. So yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think it's the same as fucking an Oracle.
No.
Like like as someone that steals money from a protocol by catching a bug or something like that.
Basically, Lazarus are not hiring him anytime soon. But fair play to him for using some initiative. I think is where we've landed.
You guys about this is, do you think that this exposes a structural problem with like on-chain markets settling against real-world data and the design of those markets?
For sure, the design, but it's not a matter of of course, you need to fetch real-world data to. This is the basics of the whole thing, the oracles and the fact that you connect a real world with blockchain, but the mechanisms and the mechanics needs to be super well checked. And to be honest, basing on the thing on a temperature check, like on a thermometer in an airport, that is easy to find out. It's not a good mechanism in my opinion. It's not a solid, I don't know. But
the issues in the design of the measurement, this isn't the same as drama that we had around UMA and how things resolve. Like, remember the Trump and the Zelensky suits drama, where it's like, is he or isn't wearing a suit? It's ambiguous. We're not sure. Like whales are influencing the decision. That's very different to okay, there's a market on this thing. I can go in real life and manipulate this thing, and it's permissionless, so I can just bet on it. I think it does raise a really big question. That wasn't there something today or yesterday about some more insider trading going on Polymarket, that someone got fired from something. Like, I know there's been a lot about that. And so there is a big issue with prediction markets at the moment, and just legality around all of it, and where there's all the drama around sports betting, and I think in Vegas they're trying to ban it. And there's lots of talk. I think there was a thing this week about New York as well, with Polymarket. So it's a really interesting new development, right? Because prediction markets are like we've had. I mean, they've been around for ages. The weird thing is, prediction markets didn't just get invented. Like, they were like Betfair Exchange was like, I don't know, 20 years ago or something. But like, it's just properly gone mainstream, and now it's everywhere. There's obviously a lot of stuff to sort out around legalities, around decision making, around oracles, around how things settle, what markets are allowed, who can be, how you police who can go in them. I think it was you, George, that was saying before, like, the part of the irony of a prediction market is actually the insider trading is what gives it its accuracy. And so lots of people are like, oh, maybe prediction market's going to replace the news because they know the news before it drops. It's like, well, that's only because insiders know stuff and they're betting on it illegally, right? So then, like, so there's a lot of drama and a lot of discussion to be had, I think, around prediction markets. Someone using a hairdryer to manipulate one is the least of our problems, I think.
Yeah. I mean, insider trading is a feature to make it like a truth-telling machine thing. It's like, sure. But then there's a bunch of different types of markets. So there's obviously like elections and sports betting, which has got referees and many players and already has lots of regulated gambling. But they're pure play kind of predictions where you can genuinely go, okay, well, I think I have some edge, and it's like an actual prediction, versus a market that's created around some stunt. So like Mr. Beast, for example, like, oh, he's running a charity raise, and if he hits $7 million, then we all win. It's like, well, this guy is going to make sure that he hits $7 million. Like, this is a rigged market. This is not the same as, like, who knows? And some people would say that about the US election too, but I won't get into that. The other thing is there's markets that exist where people control the outcome. It's like entirely rigged. Like, is Trump going to say the word amazingly in his next speech, or beautifully, or bigly? And he controls that. So again, it's like, just be aware of the motives of the people that you're betting on, and it's not anything really to do with. It's more about who could impact the outcome than the thing happening, if that makes sense. Which is kind of dystopian and crazy. So really cool, pretty fun.
All right. I mean, makes perfect sense too. The one solution to this could have just been place it higher up. Place the temperature gauge at the top, somewhere people can't reach it.
Honestly, there's an arbitrage opportunity here somewhere. Just someone go through all of the Polymarket markets and just see if there's anything else along the lines of this, and then just send some people out and figure it out.
This is what,
as you said, the guy in New York with the stick. If there's any others like that.
Yeah, I'm running the analysis right now just to see.
He's running,
nice.
He's running
if you could draw up a whiteboard, if you do a whiteboard for us later.
I've got about 3 or 4 whiteboards in the office, and I'm drawing diagrams in all of them.
Follow George for more legal advice.
All right, guys, let's get into our second story, which is ChatGPT Image Gen. So a quick background here for you guys on what happened. We have a major drop from OpenAI. There was a new image generation upgrade in ChatGPT this week with a very immediate response. The outputs are good enough that people are replacing design tools for a huge range of content, like product explainers, social graphics, thumbnail concepts, mock-ups. Everybody somehow is on the cover of People magazine this week. It's just crazy work. For founders, this isn't just a cool demo. The cost of producing high quality visual content just fell to very affordable. And anyone who folds this into their distribution stack early could potentially have an edge. So I want to hear from you guys here about how you're thinking of ChatGPT Image Gen as marketing experts that you all are. Curious how you view this tool and where it fits into the stack.
Well, this is news to me. I don't know anything about this new tool. So you guys are going to have to explain it to me.
So George, basically,
I'll draw you a whiteboard.
Can you generate a whiteboard about this, now?
Well, actually, I've got an old whiteboard I did.
No, this is another one.
So do you know what I was thinking? When I saw the announcement this week, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like every time there's some sort of upgrade announcement, Figma stock it's like the Simpsons meme where it's like, no, he's dead, like stop. And it's just like constantly being hammered. Every week there's this new release, a new thing, and everyone's like, oh yeah, Figma stock, off it goes again. It's like they're just being absolutely killed. But the irony of it is, I mean, in the last like 24 hours or whatever, 48 hours since it's come out, I don't know about you guys, but my feed, kind of what you said, Asha, right? The feed is just full of the same shit, but not in the same way that when Studio Ghibli happened. When like the Studio Ghibli thing happened in ChatGPT, that was like a moment where everyone went, oh my God, holy shit, I can Ghiblify myself. And it was like everywhere, everyone changed their profile pictures. That was more like a movement. Now, it's like every single person thinks they're an amazing designer. And so actually what's happening is you're getting all these crap infographics and like terrible images and stuff in people's posts. And it's all identical. It's like the same serif font, the same neon colors, the same structure, the same. And you're like, come on, guys. We can see a mile off.
I think
very good whiteboard. There you go. See boxes. It loves boxes. But my point is that I think the irony of like the Figma stock dying every time this happens is that for me, actually, it sort of reminds me just how valuable, I hate to say the word taste, but like having some sort of design ability is, because you give this tool to everyone, and the amount of slop and shit is just, it's just depressing.
I think it's not like, I think the first couple of presentations, for example, that I saw made with, not now with ChatGPT new image generator, but with Claude, for example, was wow. And then but then you see always the same stuff, as you said, so same font, same color, same division, same whatever, so I'm sure, so it's not that it's bad, but you can see immediately that it's AI generated. Because I'm sure that someone with taste and design skills project is behind these tools, but the if you don't prompt it, again, it's as usual. AI is amazing, but you need to educate, you need to prompt, and there needs to be a human with idea, with some skills behind it. Otherwise, it's still not able to generate quality stuff or recognizable stuff or original stuff, etc., etc. So maybe it's quality, but it's the same as 20 other things that you saw yesterday, basically.
George, can you explain this whiteboard to me? Because I'm a bit confused by number 3. Static knowledge cutoff.
Well, I accidentally wrote in the first person as the AI when I wrote this. I was imagining myself as an AI. So where it says in number 4, I don't think in diagrams and I can't iteratively sketch, I'm doing that as if I was the AI, just to make that clear when I drew this whiteboard manually by hand. But I think, so yeah, there's all of these things, like all these AI tools. It's like a co-pilot, it helps someone who knows what they're doing do this things faster. It gets you to the answer quicker. It does 80% of the work, and then you do the last 20% sort of stuff. Versus, but of course now you can generate infinite, detailed, meticulous slop, like the most incredible slop posters I've ever seen. And they have their own. They have some beautiful qualities to them as well, but not something you'd want to use as like your brand, for example, or so yesterday I was just having a bit of fun. I generated a schematic for a cooling system for a data center just to see what it could do, and it was almost very good. It was like, oh, there's a couple of tweaks, just change a couple things, that's wrong, that's not right, we've got arrows in the wrong place, but overall it gets you most of the way there. So yeah, you still need like the Copilot thing's still true. You can't automate like this. There's a lot of stuff you can automate. Like you can automate writing code to some extent because you can validate it's correct. But you can't automate a brand strategy because how do you know it's correct? Well, you don't for 6 months or 12 months, and you need a human who's done it before to tell you like, yes, like that sounds good. Anyway, I could talk about this for a long time, but that's why I do whiteboards.
I just wanted to sort of dive a bit deeper into this idea of fun that you said, which is creating blueprints for calling systems for data centers. That's fun. Is that fun? I've never done that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely fun for some kind of person. You know, this is like in a past life, I'd sit up and I'd draw that. Like it would take a long time, but now you can just go like, I want with this many, you know, whatever pumps,
okay.
And then you just boom, like, thank you very much. So
I feel like we have different ideas of fun.
Yeah, it depends on the time of the day, you know.
So I think as more of these AI tools are coming out, one of the interesting things that we're seeing is distribution, marketing, sharing things gets a lot easier. Like the bar is truly on the floor at this point, but standing out is truly becoming harder. Like you're saying, George, it goes back to brand. Like AI is not great at telling us the stories that we should be telling, the way that we're going to attract people to our products, to the narratives that we're sharing with the market. And so standing out becomes so much more important, but also much more difficult. I think the advantage here is that if you don't use ChatGPT Imagen to create a bunch of whiteboards, you're immediately going to stand out. And even if the art is imperfect that you're using, it could be a higher trust signal than the stuff that looks better, right? Because design has been a trust signal for us for so long. It's a way that we could tell who actually invested into marketing and teams and who put a lot of real thought behind the stuff that they created. It's almost like anti-signal for something to look really good now.
This is like people who say you should make spelling mistakes nowadays because it's the only way that proves that AI didn't write it. And like soon people are going to be programming in, just make one tiny error in this so that I can tell people I wrote it. I guess it's like that. It's the anti-signal, like you said. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think like the whiteboard thing is a really classic example. When you can do anything, well, when it can make an image about anything, then you're like, okay, it goes back to creativity, it goes back to humor, it goes back to like smarts. And that was like, we were like, cool, we're talking about drawing this up on a whiteboard, and then boom, we've got it on a whiteboard. But that's amazing. That's really good use of the tool in the circumstance. Right? Whereas if you're, I don't know, trying to make a point on Twitter or X, and you're doing a big thing, and you want to have like a really posh looking visualization or infographic, don't just like one prompt ChatGPT image and think that's fine, because it's not, because it looks like everything else. So just add some thought, add a bit, like layer of something, maybe customize it a bit, and then it's fine. So yeah, I think it is still a skill thing. It's how you use it, not what it can do.
It's the same thing that I was telling before. I think that now, the first time you try this kind of tools, you will probably spend less time to do the thing yourself, really. But the first time you need to dedicate time, you need to prompt, you need to retry, and exactly this thing. I mean, this is probably a birth from a first prompt. No,
I can tell you what the prompt was.
Yeah, go on.
I asked it to make. I said, show me some incredibly detailed slop. And this is what it made.
I mean, the pigeons with the boss chains, just that is
Jesus. There's a dragon, Bitcoin.
What is the ramen bowl doing? Okay.
who knows? I've got to say, it's like there is something beautiful about this. There is something.
This is like back in the day, like in a magazine, you know, there'd be like I don't know, at the end of the year, there'd be like an image, and you had to find all the stories, all the TV programs, or something it was referencing. It was like a really detailed image that some artist has spent 3 months making.
Yeah.
That again, great use of the tooling, because you can make a fun game out of this.
The pigeon has
that's actually kind of wild.
Like he's got aviators. Yeah. Like look at all this stuff. Like it's overwhelming. It's just an overwhelming amount of content, which just doesn't make any sense. And but there's some. I think this is perfect. This sums it up to me. It's just like things, but it's the same as like you know, like poetry, right? Like what is the poet trying to say? Like what is the poet trying to say with this picture, or like with what you're tweeting, or with anything else that you create? It's like, who knows, really?
I think it is. Yeah, I think it might be when you use it to try and make it yourself like look better, it doesn't work. But when you use it for what it's truly meant to be used for, you just accept it. Allow, like you can do stuff like this where actually it's kind of cool and it's funny. It's like ironic. It's obviously not real, and it's fine. It still works. It does what it does. It's when people try to like, oh, I'll just use AI to write it instead of me writing it. It will sound better. That's sometimes where it can go wrong, I think.
Oh yeah, AI writing makes me nauseous. It makes me feel ill. Like when you read it and when you see it on the timeline as well. It's almost like, you know, when your brain has a filter for when you're seeing ads as you're scrolling. You don't even see them anymore. Same thing for AI writing. You start reading and then you see it's not just a X, it's a Y, or you know, some sort of AIism.
Isn't it?
And I immediately stop reading. I'm like, oh, yeah. Okay. Move on.
That sentence structure is just like a dead giveaway every time.
It used to be the M dash, and then everyone cottoned on, so stopped. And ironically, if you start using M dashes, so this is like the making a mistake. If you start using M dashes now, it's totally acceptable and fine, and it kind of looks more legit again. Because someone's like, well, if that was AI, they obviously would have told it not to use that, because you know the Claude skill that was built says don't do it. So yeah, there's ways you can play around with it. I love a good M dash, so I'm glad it's back.
I love how we're all like adjusting to these tools in real time. Let's jump into our third story, which is KelpDAO's $292 million exploit. History on this for you all. So on April 19th, attackers linked to North Korea's Lazarus Group drained 116,500 from KelpDAO's Layer 0 bridge, the largest DeFi exploit of 2026. They compromised 2 RPC nodes, triggered a DDoS to force a failover, and tricked the verifier into approving a fraudulent cross-chain transaction. Arbitrum froze $71 million. The hacker routed $175 million through Thorchain into Bitcoin, where it can't be touched. And now Kelp and Layer 0 are in a very public fight about whose fault it is, which is just thrilling for all of us to experience. So what does this mean for founders building on cross-chain infrastructure? How do you guys think about trust at that layer when vendors are pointing fingers at each other?
I mean, it was a very, very bad H1 for DeFi in general, because every month, even less, something happens. Georgia, can you please show your? I'm not comfortable with the
board. Yeah.
No, not these.
So sorry. Yep, I have the. I just can't get that one out of my head.
Because it's not nice to. Yeah. Thanks.
There we go.
Yeah. Oh, I can talk. No, but pointing fingers is even worsening the mood. You know, the overall atmosphere that is now worse and worse around DeFi, and I don't think it's necessary, and also I don't think it's useful. So I don't know why they are like trying. Of course, like they are trying to someone to take responsibility, but at the end of the day, even when you find out whose responsibility is this, the community is not getting, like the holders are not getting back their money. So probably. No?
There's like a lot of interesting things going on. So, and in relative terms, it shouldn't have been as big a deal as it was, I think, in terms of the amount of ETH that we're talking about and the haircut. Like whoever takes the haircut, it's not a huge amount, but it's ended up with, I think, over half of Aave's TVL. It's like a big bank run. Bunch of people unwinding their looped positions. Nobody sort of saying anything. It's so yeah, it's like pretty fascinating. Big discussion about decentralization, who should be doing what. Thorchain are saying no, we're not, we're decentralized, so we're not doing anything. Even though if you ask me, they did the whole Thorchain lending like thing, came to a consensus, and then rolled that out so they can make decisions, so they can do things. So I think that's probably the thing that I'm looking at. Like people, none of this stuff is really that decentralized. So I think if you're sitting there and saying we need to do decentralization theater for legal purposes or for some kind of like Twitter posturing, then you're in the wrong, and you should do what you can to you don't pretend that you're decentralized so that you don't do anything. That's like a bad idea, is my opinion. So all these rollups, everybody's on the same page that they're not decentralized because they have security councils, right? Like this is like then they get to stage 1 and stage 2 and stage 3. This is the whole concept. So I think people have forgotten that part. So I'm happy that the Arbitrum froze the money. Like Kim Jong-un should not get funds from DeFi. This is a bad outcome. I think it's like 7% or 8% was a number I saw. The GDP of North Korea is from hacks, which is insane. So just I'm a practical person. So that's my take on the whole thing. Just freeze them.
Wait till they get access. Wait till North Korea get access to Mythos. We're all screwed.
Yeah. Like all of these different, because another Lazarus, there's not Traitor, it was another group did the drift thing. That was this month as well. Right. So that was like 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, where they did this whole huge social engineering
into one.
So that story is also pretty terrifying because they basically created a fake market maker team, and then had that team befriend the drift team, become market makers, and then that's how they socially engineered them, because they had this trusted relationship with like enough cash, enough float. They looked like a real market maker, and then
they gave them $1 million. I think they put over $1 million into the platform. Yeah,
and so it's like you can't trust anyone. Like it's like, who do you trust when all this social engineering stuff is happening all the time? It's pretty scary.
Exactly. And every time that there's a DeFi exploit, everyone's like, hey guys, maybe we should figure this out. Maybe we should do something about this. What do you guys think has to happen for that for anything to actually change?
I honestly think we have to go through more pain. And I know that's really bad, but we're in that weird inflection point because, like, I know some of this stuff is social engineering, some of it's because of AI, some of the hacks that have happened, arguably some of the smart contract stuff, there's talk of the balancer and some of the other things are because, now people are using AI. I heard Justin Drake last week on a thing talking about how they get 40 or 50 submissions a week just from the general public of like faults they found with the GitHub repo, which they're just using AI just to find issues now, and it's because it's that good, right? It's just finding bugs. So like I think we have to go through this cycle now where there are going to be bugs found and people are going to exploit them because that's what people do, and we will learn from it and get better. It's almost like a race to, can the good guys or the white hackers or the black hackers win first? Everyone's got the same tools now, other than the 5 or 6 companies that have Mythos, but most people have the same tools, and so you kind of have to. So it's now a race as to who's going to find the bugs first, and are you going to get exploited, or can you catch them yourself and fix them before they can be fixed? I think what is interesting though is beyond that, and however long that takes, who knows. Maybe it's a short window, but beyond that, the idea that there will no longer ever be bugs in your code Like there will not be vulnerabilities because AI is writing it all. And the only, it literally programs in no vulnerabilities. I think that's kind of interesting because then that changes the game completely. So I don't think DeFi is dead. I don't think this destroys anything. I don't think it's like, oh, smart contracts are over because of AI and all this stuff. Because you could also go down the quantum stuff, and let's not even go there. But that will happen last week with Google as well. But yeah, I think we probably just have a little bit more pain, a little bit of a window to get through the period of the white hatters versus the black hatters, and then hopefully we come out the other side with a pretty strong position. Some new types of smart contracts, maybe. I don't know.
Interesting.
That's my take anyway. So maybe, yeah. I won't look, 10 billion has come out of Aave in the last 2 days, 3 days. So I guess people are pretty nervous.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah. I mean, it's I think the analogy the right analogy is, I don't know, like Aave is definitely a victim in this, even though they accepted the collateral, and like whoever the curator is there, like, I don't know what the deal is. Like a lot of this stuff's behind closed doors, which again, to the point, it's like these are like companies. They're not, immutable code sort of like hanging there, nobody can change or affect. It's there's companies and people making decisions, curating markets, making decisions. So I think that's probably a legal statement I'm making. I've made a more beautiful AI slop version of the drama.
Lovely.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe actually, if you want to pull that up, it dramatizes the whole situation a little bit better. Yeah, here we go. So
what?
Sure.
As you can see, you have the Arbitrary Security Council, the sort of like Jedi down here on the left. So,
yeah, this is the same thing that I also had, the same style that I had from ChatGPT.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then we've got like a zero forged message. You can see like this tells the whole story. This is beautiful. Aave, bad debts, then Thorchain is where it gets transformed. The ETH gets transformed into Bitcoin, and yeah, look at this. Like, what an incredible diagram. Thank you, ChatGPT. This will definitely improve the internet.
So bullish rune.
Well, that's the trade. I think it might be done now. I was looking at the rune pools yesterday. Because obviously if you're selling ETH and buying Bitcoin like a lot, then someone has to arb those pools, but I don't know, someone else was doing it. So, and there wasn't that much depth. Anyway, yeah. So this is all happening.
But
Maria, what's your thought? You've been in the walls of Aave. What's your thought? What's going on right now in their heads?
I mean, I think there are a lot of things happening at Aave besides this, and during this like couple of months, a lot happened in their DAO. A lot of like the communities. I'm again, as usual, thinking from a community / marketing perspective, and all of this is very harmful for them. Like first the DAO crisis and drama and Mark Zeller and whatever, and also not just Mark Zeller, but a lot of service providers are gone. Then this now. The sentiment is not the best. However, Aave built a very Aave Labs. So around the person of Stani, basically, they built a very healthy community. And so I'm not sure if this will be harmed in the long term, to be honest, or it's just like a temporary thing. I think that it's temporary because they survived too a lot. Like since the Ethland times, where I remember that people were completely like evil with Aave, with Ethland, due to the drop of the token value. Now it's bigger, but it's always they just love the person, in my opinion. Like, so this is like an example of an healthy community. So see, for sure this will harm again. It's another like thing that is not ideal, especially now. But yeah, and I think Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, go for it, Maria.
No, it's done. Like,
okay. Yeah, I was just gonna say $292 million and a public blame war between vendors essentially means that we need to know exactly what we're trusting and why. Trust is really a theme that we keep coming back to in this podcast. So Danny, CEO of Hype, Maria, VP of Strategy, George, VP of Narrative, thank you guys so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
Cheers.
More whiteboards next time.